After Dad died, to give you some idea of what a nervous warrior she was, I used to go down to Weston-super-Mare, this little town where I was born, to visit her, and she would greet me with a cup of coffee and a list. And the list was a list of all the worries that she had, that she wanted to discuss with me, and she'd been writing them down for the previous 2 or 3 weeks to make sure she didn't forget any.
Oh, the latest worries, the
and
list.
then we would sit down and we would start working our way through the worries, you know, how likely they were to happen, you know, what she would do if they did happen, and what we could do to make sure they didn't happen. Then she'd go off and make me another cup of coffee after about an hour, and we'd work our way through the list. There'd often be about 25 or 30 worries on it. And then if we couldn't get through them by the time she went to bed, then we would...
start again in the morning, maybe.
In the morning, yeah, over breakfast.
More coffee.
So more coffee
worries.
and worries until we'd been through the lot. And I realised it was never that I said anything that helped, but just the contact. I think sometimes people forget. I mean, your dad was a psychiatrist.
That's right.
Just the human contact is calming. Yeah. If you're with someone who listens to you and nods, and that's what worked for her. She would be much calmer after I'd gone.
That's funny.
And then she'd start worrying about not having any worries.
Contact,
I said to her, I said, Mother, if you had nothing to worry about, you'd worry about that, wouldn't you?
Was she a loving? Was she a very maternal figure, or was she
more
she
was too anxious. She was too anxious.
To worry.
And yes, and also, and anxious people, you know, they tend to be depressed, and she was depressed most of the time. When I used to telephone her, the calls would go like this. I'd ring up and say, oh, hello, Mum. And she'd say, oh, hello, John. How are you? And I'd say, I'm fine, Mum. How are you? And she would say, always with a sort of hint of surprise, she would say, well, I've been just a little bit down this week. And I don't know why she was surprised, because she was a little bit down for the last 50 years, you know. So and it was. I can laugh about it now, but you didn't want your mum to be down. I wanted to cheer her up, and trying to cheer up a depressive is not a very rewarding task.
Was she Irish?
No. English. She never.
No, you know what? Maybe it's a universal thing.
Oh, I think
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did that sense?
But let me tell you, she had a great sense of humour. That was where we connected, because she had a black sense of humour.
Oh, God.
And one day she was really, quite seriously, listing all the reasons that she didn't want to go on living. Seriously. And I had a moment of inspiration. I said, Mum, I have an idea. And she said, oh, well, what is that? And I said, I know a little man who lives in Fulham. And if you're still feeling this way next week, I could give him a call, if you like, but only if you like, and he could come down to Weston and kill you. Startled silence. And then she hoots with laughter.
Okay. Oh, she got the joke.
She thought it was hilarious.
Oh, great.
And every time after that, it was an inspiration. Yeah. Because every time after that, she was a bit depressed and would tell me about it. I'd listen for a little bit, and then I'd say, so, should I call the little man? And she'd laugh, and it would change her mood, and she'd say things like, oh, no, I've got a sherry party on Friday.
How long did she live a long life?
Oh, she lived a long life, yes. She died, eventually. At the age of 101.
Of course.
Really? 101. Wow. She was born in 1899 and she died in the year 2000.
Extraordinary.
So let me tell you something. I do on my stage show. I say, so her life spanned the entire 20th century, from the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand in Sarajevo through the First World War, the Great Depression, the rise of Hitler and Stalin, the Second World War, the atomic bomb, the space age, the collapse of communism. She lived through it all without really noticing any of it.